What's going on, Bray? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Broscast, episode 248. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Nick, it finally happened.
We're now in a post-switch to reveal world.
What a week. I mean, there's always rumors going on, and we'll talk about here in a little bit, and then get our thought. I want to hear your thoughts on what it looks like. But yeah, man, I was watching Nintendo Prime's live stream on Thursday night because, usually, or no, Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday night was before it.
Yeah. So yeah, I was watching it Wednesday night, and they said it was coming the 16th. Normally, going by Nintendo's kind of cadence of announcing stuff, they always announce it like the day before or the night before. We never got that, and then sure enough, they shadow dropped it on Donkey Kong launch day, which
at like
I was very skeptical about that, but yeah,
super early reveal too. Yeah, like 8 a.m. pretty early. Yeah, no lead up to it, which ended up being fine for them. I think the reveal, got viewed by tens of millions of people. So
yeah, it was. I mean, it was
cool.
kind of. I mean, I think it was kind of genius on Nintendo's part. Like they just kind of allow. I mean, they didn't want this to happen, like to get so leaked out. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many views that specific video has now. Let's see. I've got it pulled up.
I think it's around
it's 18 million right now, and that's just the U.S. Or Nintendo of America's account. So yeah, this thing is being seen by everybody. Yeah, I don't think they have anything to worry about with the Switch 2. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Get our thoughts on all that stuff. But Nick, before we dive into what we've been playing, which is not a ton, but how was your week?
Week was good. Week was pretty good, pretty chill. Watched I don't know if you've watched the show Severance on Apple
I've not.
TV.
I know you talked about it before, but I have not.
Dude, you gotta watch it.
I've not seen it.
The second season just started, so we watched the first episode at our friend's house the other night.
Okay, that's on Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever.
Yeah, Apple TV.
Okay.
If you get it, you should also watch a show called Silo.
Okay.
It just had its season 2 season finale, and it's like confirmed that season 3 and 4 are both coming, and those are going to be like the final seasons. So it's not canceled or anything. So it's like,
yeah,
a great time to actually get into it. But I've been watching a lot of their shows. Yeah, never been a better time to jump in. I've been watching a lot of like Apple TV shows. So
cool.
It's been fun. But yeah, how was your weekend?
It was good. Watched a ton of football. Watched the divisional rounds. Super. I'm not a Lions fan necessarily, but I was a little bit bummed out when
you were in it for the dream.
I was in it for the dream. It's America's team right now. I was a little bummed out, but I mean, you can't throw 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions and a fumble. Like, that's not how you're going to win a football game. But it's all good. It's all good. It was still fun. It was still fun to watch. A lot of good football this weekend. Weird weekend. TikTok got shut down for like 12 hours. We got put in timeout.
Hours.
Yeah, it was very weird. Because I think it like shut down like 9 p.m. our time, and then or maybe 10. I can't quite remember. And by the time like I woke up, it was already back. So it was
I think we all understand that it was a ploy. It was just a play, right? Like,
can I give you my conspiracy on what I think is going to happen?
Yeah.
I think they, in the time that it was down, the algorithm got changed. And so that way, going forward, I think an American company, whether is going to buy TikTok, and that way they can control the news. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I don't really think it's about trying, like, people get, like, trying to have an access to all these people. I think I really do think that TikTok is such an incredible platform for actually getting news and what's actually going on in the world. That's, again, it's a little bit of a conspiracy, but I feel like we're always fed on the news of just whatever the news wants us to know, and with TikTok we can kind of see everything. That's not a conspiracy.
Okay.
I mean, conspiracy, and I'm not usually a conspiracy theorist, but I'm like, it's so weird that it gets shut down for like 12 hours. Like, that's, I don't know. But
it seemed very like, I mean, obviously like premeditated to a degree.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and I wouldn't be shocked by that. But
yeah, I mean, I hope that's not the case, because like, I'll be honest, if like Facebook buys it or Mr. Beast, I'm good with TikTok. I'm probably not going to use it anymore.
Dude, if Mr. Beast gets his grubby hands on TikTok, I'm
good. I don't think I trust any American company at this point right now to own any sort of major social media platform. I mean, Facebook is horrible enough, and Instagram. It was like a very like funny thing, like all the people that are like, I will go to China and I will personally deliver my social security number before I scroll on Instagram Reels. And then like and I kind of like, we won't talk about that TikTok thing too much longer, but I do dabble on TikTok quite often, and it was funny like seeing all like the original kind of like creators that first started out like back in 2020. I never really followed them, but of course their videos were always across my feed, and now they all came back. They're all like reenacting like their kind of like their big videos, and like everybody's saying goodbye and stuff. And then like 12 hours later, it's back. I kind of wish it was down for like a week at least, just so we could have that purge. So
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like we didn't really. It's like we went to bed and then it was back.
And there were some funny comments like when it was down, seeing like international comments talking about like the US being gone from like the TikTok algorithm. And they're like, man, it's kind of quiet here. It's kind of nice. It's like the loud kid at school finally shuts up for a little bit.
Yeah, loud kid gets
like
expelled or
yeah.
It's funny. But
so
yeah, that was interesting.
Definitely a weird weekend in that regard, but
yeah,
whatever. I mean, everything's back. All of our accounts are fine. So
yeah, nothing happened. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah, it was an interesting time just seeing people freak out, and all. It's messed up because I do know that like being a full-time content creator is absolutely like a full-time job. Sometimes it could be harder, or not, maybe not harder, but you put in more work than someone that does like a 9-to-5 or a traditional job. But all the people that were like, what am I going to do? And then all the people were like, get a job.
Like, get a job now.
Yeah.
Or just like, are these people not also posting on Reels?
That's what I would like. I would never want to have one platform be my kind of bread and butter. Like, you got to diversify your content. And even if you're making the same stuff, just put it on another platform. That way, if stuff like this happens, you're not 100% screwed. Because I mean, these platforms get shut down all the time. I mean, I know Twitch is doing better. I know it was in a bit of a rough state for a while, and and then obviously like Microsoft Mixer got shut down.
Vine.
Yeah, Vine got shut down. A lot of those people did move over to TikTok when that came around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, diversify your content a little bit and put it on other stuff, just so you're not screwed. But again, I'm not saying that content creation is not hard or anything, but it was like fine. Like, well, welcome to the employment train, brother.
Get in line, bro.
So yeah. But yeah, weird weekend for sure. But it was weird. Switch 2 gets revealed by Nintendo officially. Inauguration was today, so like everybody's just kind of on edge.
A lot of weird stuff going on. Yeah. Switch 2 looks exactly like the leaks. It's cans of worms being opened up left and right. So
yeah, but it's all good stuff. But before we dive into, because that's probably the main thing we're going to talk about this week is the Switch 2 reveal, and our thoughts on it, what it looks like. But Nick, I finished Metaphor.
How did it hold up?
There was not a single moment in this game where I felt like it dragged at all. Like, wow. It does fake you out like 3 or 4 times at the end of the game where it's like you think it's over, and then something happens and you're fighting another boss or doing whatever. But yeah, I think this game is just perfectly paced. I mean, there was a point where I texted you, and I was only like 35, 40 hours in, and I was like, man, I feel like I'm coming up on the end game. And then something happens in the story, and then I have another 30 hours of game. So it's like
I'm really confused because I'm like at the 35 to 40 hour mark, and I'm, I guess, trying to stay as spoiler free as possible. But I'm on the island.
Okay,
is that where
I guess the part where I thought it was going to end is when you're in like that theater and you. Like, wait, never mind. Nope, never mind. That's after the island part. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Yeah. So the part after you do the island sequence, you come back and there's more game. There's a lot more game after. But I thought after this sequence you're getting ready to do, I thought that was the end.
That was the end game.
And there was like another 20, 30 hours.
Man, am I playing slow then? Because I feel like I'm not. I mean, I'm just going through like all the side quests and doing the.
I mean, I did the same thing. Like I went through everything. Like I was doing all the side quests. Like I got towards the end of the game, I got every single character's like rank all the way up except for one. I missed one. Like, and I was rank 7 of this individual. But I've started a new game plus and going through that, and that's been a lot of fun so far. But
nice.
But yeah, I mean, this game, I know I've already gushed about it for the last 2 weeks, but I mean, the story absolutely holds up. Twists and turns, emotional. It's incredible.
So it's your retroactive game of the year 2024.
I would probably say so. Yeah. It's pretty damn good. I mean, for an RPG where I put 70 hours in, and my initial like immediate thing I do right after is to jump right back in with the new game plus.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy for this long of an RPG.
Yeah, and you can, I mean, and once you, so I'll talk about new game plus for a second. Like everything carries over except for a couple of like quest items, of course. Your level does reset, but your mastery of all the archetypes, you keep those.
Okay.
So you're pretty much like steamrolling through all the enemies. Like you can pretty much one hit most of them with your basic attack. Now the archetype tree is locked to the story, so you won't have immediate access to everything. So you start out as like you're the seeker, and then you can, as you progress a story and get all the characters, then you can open back up. But all the characters have all their full mastery. So it's really cool. And I feel like the leveling system is also like a lot faster as well. Because I was like, I don't know, like level 15 coming out of or going into like the first human boss fight you do. The big one with like the eggshell, the eggshell one.
Yeah.
So I'm actually past that point now, and I think I'm in the second area, Matera, something like that. Whatever, I can't remember what it's called, but the second area.
Dang, you're like,
yeah, and I'm like skipping cutscenes and skipping all the dialogue. So it does a really good job of like, you don't have to sit there and watch every single cutscene. You can skip the dialogue and stuff like that. So it's pretty fast.
So, question for you: if this game came out on the Switch 2, would you buy it there too?
Probably not, because I mean I've got like you and I both pre-ordered the Midnight Portal for the PlayStation Portal Midnight Edition.
Yeah.
So I've got that, and I'm sure once that comes, because it comes out in like 2 weeks or something, 3 weeks.
I
So
think it's February 20th.
oh, it's the 20th. Okay, so a month. So yeah, I don't know what games are coming out in the next like month or so. So I'm sure like if I put a brief pause on Metaphor, I'm sure I'll pick it right back up whenever the portal comes in, so I can see what that looks like on there. Because I know that's a pretty good looking screen for those games, or for games in general. But so yeah, man, it's a great game.
Telling you, we gotta.
I'm probably gonna platinum it.
I'm guessing you have to get like all the archetypes mastered.
Get all the I think you have to master all the archetypes for the protagonist, which is pretty easy. There's a spot at the very last. It's not a dungeon, but it's an area where I probably grinded for like, because I went into the last. So luckily, so I will tell you, going into like the last areas, I would definitely create multiple save files, because if I had kept one save file and I went into the final boss, I would have not been able to beat him. I had to revert to it like an old save, which I'd only lost maybe 30 minutes, so it wasn't really a big deal. And then there's an area where you can really like grind and grind a bunch of levels, like pretty much ranked everybody's final archetype that they can unlock to mastery. So like I was pretty set going into the final boss.
That's good to know. Yeah, I've been switching between like 3 save files just in case. But
because I like it because, you know, and a lot of like RPGs, especially like that, when you have like different classes, you know, once you rank up a class, you don't get any more experience for that. I mean, you still level up, but like the actual class itself doesn't level up. And with this one, you don't level up, but every time you do gain levels, you get an item where you can boost your archetype level for your other archetypes.
Yeah.
In that area, I mean, I had this one little spot that I would go to, one little like maybe 3-minute run, and I could probably get 30 to 40 of those items, and they would boost it up by 1,000 a piece. So like you could really, really grind it out in that specific area. So that was really nice. Otherwise, like I said, I would have been cooked. Yeah, I would have been cooked, because a lot of enemies in the end game do a lot of AoE attacks, which could be a little bit of annoying, but I mean, once you figure it out, it's not too bad.
And I guess the alternative would just be kicking it down to easy mode.
I did end up doing that, actually.
Oh, you did?
Because I was in what I thought was the final dungeon. I was like severely underleveled, like 20 levels underleveled. I was like, man, like I've done everything in this game. What is going on? And it was one of those points where I had started the dungeon on the very last day that you could start it, so I couldn't leave the dungeon. Otherwise, I would go into the end game and just lose. And I also didn't have any mana I didn't have any potions to rebuild my mana, so I had to figure that out. So I probably spent like 3 hours, and then I had to revert to an old save and crank it back down to easy. So I lost like probably 3 to 4 hours. So my save time isn't quite up to what my actual playtime was. I think on the PS5 it tells you what your actual playtime is, but that was a little frustrating. But the game is so fun that like I didn't really care, and I didn't really lose. Like I wasn't super deep into the dungeon itself, but I was like,
you just lost time, but not progress.
Yeah, because you could really get to the enemies pretty quickly, but the way I was fighting, I didn't have any mana, so like I kept using just basic attacks, and they weren't really doing anything. So that was the only frustrating thing I had with that game. But again, it was so fun. Like I really didn't mind losing a few hours, especially to do it right.
That's really my only critique. It's like your basic attacks they can't carry you through through any battles. Really, you have to use mana. Yeah. So when you're going through a dungeon or a mini dungeon or an area, like you're kind of like, damn, I'm gonna drain all my mana before I get to the boss fight, and then if I get there and I can't defeat them,
then you have to leave, come back and rest, and then go back in, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably like the most frustrating thing about the game was the mana. And there's the vendors have it, but they only have a limited amount, like maybe 3 or 4 that you can purchase, and it takes time for them to restock, which is a little annoying. I did learn, and I would be curious to find out if this has been in the entire game the whole time, but in the final area, I was very extremely low on mana, and then I found out that Neuris sells mana, like sells like items you can buy, and I don't know if that's just for that final area because you are kind of locked in and you cannot go any further, or you can't go back into the town or anything like that. So maybe they added him in there to sell stuff. So I would, when I play it again, I'm gonna see if that's the case when I go to a dungeon or something like that. So just keep that in mind when you're in the final area.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really the only critique I have. Other than that, like, the game's pretty damn flawless. Like, it's great.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dang. Well, I'm excited to play more. Incredible. I played a good bit last night and got pretty deep into that island area. I think I'm doing one more bounty, like doing like the Cyclops bounty, and then I'm gonna hit the actual dungeon and do that. Okay. But it's cool. I love it. Yeah. I really do love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, there's something about like JRPGs that are just so chill. Like it's just such a good time. Like they're usually not super hard, although like in the end game, like stuff does really start to crank up in difficulty. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you normally can kind of just chill out, go on a podcast and just hang out, just play. It's great.
Yeah. Cutscenes it depends on where you are, but like you could spend an hour or two in a dungeon, not have any cutscenes, or you can be progressing story in the towns. And I don't know, it's a great game to just kind of like put on and chill and play.
Yeah,
not too much pressure.
Yeah, my wife Brittany, she was sick. She was kind of had a cold this earlier this week. She's kind of just now kind of getting off of it, but like I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. Like she was not feeling good at all. Like she left work early and stuff like that. We thought she may have had COVID, but she didn't. So I was like, well, I really don't want to get sick. I'm gonna take Kellen to school in the morning. I'm just gonna sleep on the couch because we have like a pretty big couch. So I just threw some YouTube on and grabbed my phone and was using the Backbone. And I probably played 5 hours on the Backbone. I was up till like 2:30. My eyes were with it destroyed. I mean, it's just like a little 6-inch screen or whatever. So I was like, man, I really wish I had the Portal in this moment, but I played way too much that night. But it was a lot of fun. I had an absolute blast doing it. But yeah, any more thoughts on Metaphor?
No, I mean, I think it's so far it's paced pretty perfectly.
Yeah,
like it had. I think this is like the 4th quote unquote dungeon that I'm in, and they've all been kind of like the perfect size. Like the 3rd one, when you're in the sea town, like that one's like super short, right? And I feel like that one was a good break from the one before that. And I feel like this upcoming one's going to be a bit longer, which I'm excited for. I'm excited to get in and kind of like grind a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I mean, I love playing around with the different archetypes. I'm trying to get better at setting up like the optimal team so they can synergize with each other, because I hate having like one character not being able to use any like synergy abilities.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure that out and get the perfect team cooking up. But yeah,
there's some really cool things, like especially in the last couple of bosses. Like you really have to make sure you're synergized up. And you get some really, once you unlock some of the later archetypes, their passive abilities are really, really good. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
All
right.
Let's get into it. Do you want to start with the Switch 2 reveal, or you want to end with it?
Let's start with it. Let's
start with it. Okay, cool. All right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show. We were expecting, everybody, Nate the Hate came out on his podcast, said it was going to be revealed on the 16th. Everybody else in the industry kind of corroborated that story. Kit and Krista were out there saying that's what they heard. Jeff Grubb was out there saying it. IGN was even kind of posting about it. So it was all but guaranteed. And then Wednesday night, we had heard nothing from Nintendo. They were dropping a whole bunch of Donkey Kong stuff, and I was like, man, the internet is going to come after these people if it doesn't happen. And they did that night. They were killing them. And then I went to bed. I was like, man, I'm pretty disappointed. And then right at 8:00, they dropped the trailer.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And I didn't think they would shadow drop it just because, it's the Donkey Kong release day. Switch 2 reveal, it's a pretty massive deal. And for them to just shadow drop it with nothing in not that they need to, but still it's like, man, okay.
I mean, I think it was telling when they released the launch trailer for Donkey Kong the day before.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that on Wednesday when it launches on Thursday? But
I'm just going to play in the background here while we talk. Yeah. What are your thoughts about it? How it looks?
looks like the leaks. I mean, and that part does make this reveal less exciting because we've seen it before. We've seen the bigger Joy-Cons. We've seen the.
I mean, they were exactly what
to a T. We've seen the magnetic stuff. It's a little disappointing to see how big the bezels are on the screen, but I understand that there's a whole piece of the Joy-Con that goes inside of the tablet. So that makes sense that it's a little bit more indented than it was on the Switch OLED.
Yeah, because the top of the bezel isn't awful.
No, it's just the sides.
Yeah, it's just the sides. It's really the top is pretty good actually.
Yeah, top is fine. Yeah, it's just the sides. And yeah, it's just because the new Joy-Cons have this whole notch that's sticking out that magnetizes to the tablet. So it makes sense. I'm sure there will be an upgraded OLED version down the line, assuming that
we'll get a Switch Lite here in a year or two, and then they'll follow the same release schedule as as the Switch, as the original Switch.
Yeah,
which is fine. I mean, I've loved my OLED. I have zero regrets. In that, I mean, who knows if they do a Switch 2 Pro this generation and then they launch with the OLED for that, kind of how they were kind of supposed to do that for this generation. It just didn't work out with COVID and all that stuff. But I mean, like you said, it was a little bit of a letdown just because we had literally seen every single thing on there. Although the C button is oddly not there. I mean, it's there, but it's not. There's no C. So we still don't know what that does.
And again, I'm looking at the video now, and that what we saw basically confirms the mouse functionality for the Joy-Cons, where you can put them in the what is that called on the Switch? The little attach,
the Joy-Con
strap thing. Yeah, the guards or whatever.
Yeah,
it's a new type of guard for the Switch 2. You put it on it, and then looks like you can just kind of use it as a mouse almost.
Yeah,
which I'm excited to see what they do with that.
This just popped into my head. It would be a little bit weird if there was a C button, that they wouldn't just have the C on there. What if it's a trackpad? What if it's a mini version of a trackpad on the Steam Deck? I feel like if that's the way they're going with adding mouse support, I think that would make a lot of sense. That way you don't have to take it off physically if you want to still play an RTS or something, but use a mouse like that. I feel like that could be pretty legit.
If they can make that comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if they do or not.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it could be.
I mean, it's rumored to be a chat button, but I just feel like that's weird. Like, why would we need a whole button for just chat? But I don't know.
I mean, it's Nintendo. They're
It is
catching up with
Nintendo.
times.
It
But
is
like,
Nintendo. I'm gonna.
when you think about it, though, like with an Xbox controller, right? You press the Xbox button in the middle, and that'll open up a menu. On the PlayStation controller, it has like it has the PlayStation button, right, where you open up a menu and you can do stuff with like the hub. Switch One really doesn't have that. It has the home button, and you can go home and kind of suspend your game.
Yeah.
But maybe this like kind of acts as like an Xbox button or a PlayStation button where it opens up some sort of menu.
So you think it's like something for like the OS? It'll bring up like a little menu to the side or down or up or something like that.
Yeah, and then
Just
you can like
Xbox and
use that to
PlayStation.
look at
Okay.
your friends list and chat, something like that. I mean, you can do
I can
other
see
things
that.
too, but
I mean, I really do hope their OS and their friends list is completely updated because it's pretty bad. So that would be, yeah. I mean, I could see that as well. I mean, I could just see it being a little button that allows you to access that stuff. So that makes sense. Yeah, I like that.
How are you feeling about the magnetized Joy-Cons?
I think it looks cool. I think some people are worried and about like the little strip that's kind of just sitting there, like right. Let me pull it back a little bit. I think there's a better. Yeah, like right here. Like some people are worried that it's sticking out. I mean, obviously it's not sticking out. It's still, it's not gonna go past the shell right there. But I guess some people are worried about that being damaged. But it looks like it's gonna be pretty secure in there. Like it's gonna be a way, because if you pick up your Switch right now, like you can kind of jostle around those Joy-Cons a little bit. This one looks like it's actually going to stay in there. So when it's in there, I'm definitely not worried. But I mean, kids and stuff, maybe that could be a potential issue. I don't know.
If you look in your iPhone right now, like the charging hole in your iPhone, you can see the same thing.
True. Yeah.
Granted, it's a wider space here, but I have to imagine that this has gone through enough testing
R&D,
R&D, QA testing, that they've assured that this is not going to fall off unless you're deliberately trying to break it off, which I'm sure CNET will try to do. I'm sure Eurogamer will try to do.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's going to be pretty sturdy.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm sure they're done their testing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure that little thing itself is probably really sturdy as well. It's I probably not gonna be able to wiggle it, and like you said, unless you're trying to break it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, overall design, like, do you like the way it looks? I mean, obviously it's just kind of a bigger Switch, which is, if we knew that Nintendo wasn't going to kind of do any sort of evolution or anything like that, we knew it was going to be kind of an iteration console. So I like this. I mean, I like the sleekness of it, with the the undertone colors. So I think it looks really nice. It looks really sleek.
It looks premium.
Yeah, it does look very premium.
It looks more premium than the original Switch did,
for sure.
Like when you look at like the Switch at the beginning of this video, which I've just been playing on my OLED for the past couple of years, so I haven't really looked at it. But yeah, that old Switch looked kind of like a kid's toy in comparison.
It really does. Yeah. I mean, I've just kind of picking up the Switch here and there with Kellen. Yeah, it is like a night and day difference between the Switch and the Switch OLED. So I'm sure this will be even nicer. And the Joy-Cons are bigger, obviously. So it's just gonna be a better experience overall. What did you think about Mario Kart?
I mean, it looks great. It looks like it's confirmed to have 24 players versus 12. It looks like the maps themselves, the courses are a lot bigger. Like at the end when it kind of pans out, that just looked like a huge runway. So maybe I'm like misremembering Mario Kart 8 Deluxe courses, but this one seems very big in comparison. It seems like there's
it does look like maybe there's going to be. I don't know. I mean, I like Mario Kart. I didn't necessarily love Mario Kart 8, I'm hoping they put in like a proper single player mode and not just a home circuit or whatever the standard is. Like they have a proper single player adventure or something like that. Like I mean I did a video on it, but I would prefer like being able to drive around like an area or a city. Maybe getting out is too much for Mario Kart. Because then it could just turn into like, okay, we're just kind of playing the Mario, a platformer with Mario Kart added in. But I mean, something like, Forza Horizon 5 or Burnout Paradise, where, you can unlock, different areas of the city or, wherever you're at. You can maybe even unlock like upgrades. Like once you level up, you can unlock the paraglider, and then you can maybe take a ramp and go to a new area. So they kind of add some Metroidvania style stuff to that. I mean, probably not going to happen. It's probably just going to be the traditional Mario Kart with bigger maps and, probably some other stuff in there. But I think that would entice me to get it day one. I don't know if, depending on what else is going to hit, I don't know if I'm going to pick up Mario Kart day one. I probably will because it's, it's Mario Kart, but and Callan's probably going to want to play it, but that would really entice me to pick it up for sure. I definitely want something. I just want like, here we are. We've had 3 Splatoons. We've had, Animal Crossing has been the same. I kind of want something. I kind of want them to take their franchises and really do something bigger with them. I don't want to be the same. Like like Splatoon 4. I don't want just another Splatoon game. Like, I want them to do something a little bit different, and not just adding more maps and modes. Like do something like grandiose with the story. Like whether that's more of an open world or an open zone. Compared, like I don't know. Just I want them to take the franchises and just put some more thought into them and just not be another like just an iteration again.
Yeah. And like I will say it's hard. I feel like it's hard to make a story mode out of a racing game.
Very
but
much
there's
so.
I mean there's got to be something they could do. I do think they will add a course creator.
Okay.
And you can create your own Mario Kart courses and share them.
Yeah.
Kind of a la like Grand Theft Auto 5. Like I know like those videos are so popular.
And that's something that even if they didn't do a single player mode, like that's something that could be a pretty big step for Mario Kart. So I think that's probably more likely than like a proper adventure mode. So that could be really cool. I'd probably tinker around in that.
And I don't know how like in depth it would be, but even just something like relatively simple, like maybe you can build some ramps or something.
Yeah. I mean, if they're gonna do it, like they should. I want it to be like a fully fleshed out like system. Like I want all the characters in there. I want Hyrule Castle. I want to be able to throw that stuff in there. Like I want it to be to really kind of flesh it out. I mean, there's Hyrule levels and levels across all the different franchises. So if they're going to do it, like I think they should absolutely just go all the way with it and let us create whatever we want.
And I think like,
really cool.
You should be able to create your own courses, even if you don't have a membership, but maybe, you need a membership to be able to download other people's courses and play those.
Yeah. You'll probably need a membership definitely to play online. And you could probably make your own courses, but you probably can't upload them.
Share them
like
or
yeah. So I think that would be. I would prefer the adventure mode, but I could definitely see them doing the course creator. That could still be really cool.
And like, I don't know what else I would want because adding new characters, sure, that's like, I guess exciting, but they don't really do anything different. Like aside from like the character weights having different
it's not really
factors.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not super interesting. So I wonder if there's like other customization mechanics that can add in.
Yeah.
Aside from just like wheels and the frame of the car of the carts, something other than that could like kind of zhuzh it up a little bit because
and if they don't have a single player mode like a proper one, or they don't have like the course maker or anything like that, like I don't know, they've got to give us something to do. I mean, I think that's also the thing with Mario Kart is, yeah, you can race, but like you're not getting things to progress in anything. Like, yeah, you're getting your gold stars and
I mean,
the
you're
courses.
unlocking frames and wheels.
Yeah, I think I need more than that.
Yeah,
And I don't know what that would be. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still just a kart racer, still a racing game. So whether you're unlocking characters or something like that, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Just I need more stuff. Just make it bigger.
yeah. I just hope they don't add like a random throwaway mode that like sounds exciting at first glance, but you're only going to play it once or twice. Like battle mode for Mario Kart 8. I think I only played that once.
I mean, it could be cool, like doing like a kind of like a mini battle royale kind of thing with 24 players. I mean, that'll make it pretty big. That could be a lot of fun.
Like F-Zero, what is it? F-Zero 99?
Yeah.
Kind of something like that, where you
something like that. Like either you're racing and like you're if you get taken out, you're out, or if you're just like that map where it, like when you look at the trailer, like it kind of looks like it splits off and goes in either direction. So like maybe I'm not saying like that. I think that one was they're just showing off a simple race, but like maybe have like a really large map that you can just kind of freely just drive around and picking up shells and stuff like that and taking people out. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So how do you feel about this being the only game they've showed off so far?
Bummed out. Like, I would prefer. I mean, obviously, like, I want to see the Zeldas and the Marios and whatever else they had. So yeah, showing this off, it makes sense because like it's Mario Kart is the best selling game on the Switch. Obviously, they're going to launch with it. It's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. It's going to be a reason to sell games because guess what, Phil Spencer? Games sell systems. So
as it turns out,
yeah. So it definitely makes sense why they showed off Mario Kart because that's what most people are probably excited for, especially the more of the casual gamers. Yeah, it just stinks because again, we already knew everything about the system going into it. We knew about the mouse thing, the rumor. We knew Mario Kart was probably coming, and we saw it. And then now we've got to wait until April to actually see some more stuff. So just the inner, just not wanting to, like not having the patience, I guess, because we've waited so long for them to reveal it. I mean, it just took forever, and there's just been so many rumors. And I know that's not Nintendo's fault. But that was kind of like the going story in the gaming community, like
for all of 2024.
Yeah, for all of 2024. Now the general public, whatever, who cares? Like they're not worried about it. They're like, oh, Switch 2 trailer, cool. Didn't know that was happening. We've been waiting a couple years now. It seems like for that this thing's been rumored. So glad to finally see it. Am a little bit disappointed in what we saw, but still very excited for the future for it.
Yeah, and based off of like analyses that other people have done on Mario Kart 9 or whatever Mario Kart was shown off.
Yeah.
Switch 2 seems a lot more powerful than Switch 1.
It does. And it also like kind of irritates me with like Digital Foundry and other various websites like already talking about the Switch not being powered. It's like, can we get it out here and play these games?
Let a game come out? Like, damn, like
and people like talking, oh, it's only as powerful as a PS4 Pro, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, again, let's just get it out here and play these games because we know
it's in your hand, man. You're playing it in the palm of your hands. Do you want to carry around a PlayStation 5 Pro in your hands and play that?
And spend $1,000 on it? That's the other thing. It's like, it's Nintendo. It's going to be a $400 system. It's going to run their games great, and it's going to run third-party games great for a couple of years. We eventually will get to the point where we are at now with the Switch 1, and games are going to start running like crap on them, or developers aren't just going to make it. But yeah, I mean, and I don't think a lot of people know like the DLSS, the upscaling, like that's really going to help out a lot with frame rates. So yes, maybe the actual specs itself may be pretty similar to like a PS4 Pro, but we're on new hardware. Like it's not like they're physically taking out Switch 4 parts and components and putting it into a Switch 2. Like this is new hardware, or somewhat new hardware with new technology. So it's going to be okay. And guess what? It's not going to be as powerful as, these other handheld gamings, but it's going to be $400 less, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be like something insane. Like I don't want to spend $800 or $900 for this thing. I'd prefer to spend $400.
And guess what? Like, not only are we going to get games like Elden Ring, which was a PS4 game, so of course that's going to be able to run on the Switch 2, but new games are going to come out on the Switch 2 because developers understand the impact of the Switch 1 and they want to get in there early. So you'll have your Square Enix, which their games don't sell on PlayStation, so they gotta go elsewhere. They're gonna put their Final Fantasies and their Kingdom Hearts on Switch 2
because they're gonna do a Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3 port,
of course,
because
a native port, not a
native port instead of a cloud.
Like
Resident Evil will probably come, like 7 and 8 will probably. There's gonna be so many third-party games that have been out for years, that all these developers and publishers can finally put on the Switch 2, to get into that market share. But yeah, it's just annoying. Like again, we've been waiting for this thing forever, and then like a week after it gets reviewed, or not even a week, and honestly, like even look like Digital Foundry, like I don't understand how they can figure out what the frame rate is going to be of a Mario Kart when it's like a compressed YouTube video, so it's not the actual thing. Like I don't understand
it was
that.
30?
Well, I don't think they were necessarily saying it was 30, but I've never really understood how Digital Foundry does that stuff off of like YouTube videos when it's like compressed video and it looks like garbage anyways.
I think you can still like frame count or something. I
don't know.
They have their techniques, but I mean they have a heavy bias towards PlayStation.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't know if they have a heavy bias, but I mean they love like the newest tech. So they're gonna kind of downplay the Switch 2 from the jump.
But I just don't get it. Like, why? There's not like this is the only option out there on the market.
Views.
Yeah,
because it gets some views. Because the headline Switch 2 is underpowered. I mean,
or like what did you read? Quote tweet the other day from PC Gamer or something, like they were like, yeah, we're gonna stick to our other handheld consoles. It's like then don't say anything else about the Switch 2. If you're going to stick to your stuff, but you're going to talk about Switch 2 because it's going to get you the most clicks, but don't do it because you don't want it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm so sick of like the grifting stuff.
And I think they had another post right below that was saying like, I hate the Switch 2, but I'm going to buy it. I was like, dude,
why? Why do you hate it? Like it's gonna be an awesome console. It's gonna play Nintendo games, and they I mean, let's face it, like they have some of the best games out there that are just fun games, So we get that. We're gonna get a lot of third party support on this thing. It's gonna be a great time for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the third party games. I'm excited to see 3D Mario, whatever else Nintendo has cooking up. But aside from that, we got the April showcase coming up. That's was revealed for April. What, April 3rd? Or no, April 2nd.
Yep.
And that's gonna
just hilarious. It's the day after April 1st. Yeah. So,
and that's naturally going to show off more of the console, more games that are coming this year. And something to note is that they have all of their their events where you can get hands-on with the Switch 2 running from April onward. And I think the last one is in Seoul. It's in Korea.
It's June 1st, right? Or June 1st. June 1st.
Which kind of means that the Switch 2 isn't going to launch anytime before June.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't make sense for them to have experience. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I think the Switch 1 did the same thing. So if we're following that kind of history, after June 1st. I mean, and we'll know about it in April, right? I think they'll give us a release date. But just speculation wise, like, yeah, I would expect this thing to come out in like maybe mid to late June.
Yeah, I think
gets full on revealed, all the features, the specs, the price. We're going to know everything about it, the games, and then in May, and after that, and then in May, and then until June 1st, they'll have their experiences, and then boom, into launch. I mean, this thing does not need 4 to 5, 6 months of marketing. We already know what it is.
It's an easy concept. Oh, it's the sequel to the Switch. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I know we kind of like talked about launch lineup games last week before we had seen the reveal, obviously.
Yeah.
With us pretty much having 6 months of Switch 1 content before the Switch 2 comes out, at the very least, do you still think Mario Kart and another game is going to launch with the Switch 2, or do you think it's just going to be Mario Kart and then maybe, Metroid Prime 4 comes out in May, but is forwards compatible, has an upgrade on the Switch 2?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like we're kind of past the point where, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo have two major games releasing same day on the platform. I think Mario is going to be, obviously it hasn't been announced yet, but I think a Mario comes out this year, and I think it's their major holiday release game. I could see Metroid Prime 4 launching because it's like you said. I mean, it's going to be a dual launch. It's going to come out in the Switch 1, and then you could have the superior version, I guess, on Switch 2. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So having one console exclusive and then one cross compatible game.
Yeah. And then obviously there may be some smaller stuff. We just don't know yet. There could be some smaller projects from Nintendo, or some unannounced games. Maybe an unannounced game, or new IP from Nintendo could launch off the launch of the system. We just have no idea. But yeah, definitely Mario Kart. I mean, I don't think they wouldn't have showed it off without basically confirming that it's going to be a launch title. And then, I think Metroid Prime 4. I think those two games are so different. People are going to be, I think a lot of people, when they buy new systems, they buy multiple games at the same time. So I don't think, launching Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart is going to
they're not going to cannibalize.
Yeah, they're not going to cannibalize each other's sales. I mean, if anything, Mario Kart will cannibalize Metroid Prime sales. But again, those games are so different that I think people want something different a little bit. They'll get their Mario Kart, but then, hey, Metroid Prime 4 is out too. So
and it's like a graphical showcase. Game.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be the big graphical showcase game for the Switch 2.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for I want to see what the OS looks like. I mean, at least we don't know anything about that as of right now. I want to see that's how that looks. I kind of hope there's a little bit more personality in the OS,
a little more pizzazz.
Yeah, I'm not saying we need like the eShop music back and stuff like that, because I mean, no, PlayStation and Xbox don't have any sort of like background music, but the shop has to be better. I mean, that shop is, I hate going into it.
It's pretty diluted at this point.
So sometimes I want to go in there and see if there's a sale, and I mean, sometimes it takes 20 seconds just to load up, and then it's so slow. It's an awful experience. So hopefully they get that right. And then with like the rumored chat stuff, like maybe they're finally kind of opening up what we can do on a Nintendo console and allow us to just have normal friends and send messages and stuff like that. So that would be really nice.
Yeah. Hopefully they kind of get up with the times a little bit and have a better hub than they did on the Switch 1. Even though the Switch 1 was very, very sleek, very clean, very simple, they just never really did anything else with the OS to make it exciting.
No. Yeah, it was pretty boring. I mean, they never updated it once.
Never added
which
themes,
is insane.
or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they added what, like you could change from black to white. Was that at launch, or did they add that later on? I'm not quite sure.
Can't remember.
Yeah, they added the Bluetooth for the headphones, which was weird because it was always there. I don't know why it wasn't just there at launch, but that was weird. Yeah, it's weird that they never updated it one time. That's so strange. But here we are. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot better with the Switch 2. So we'll see.
Well, anything else on the Switch 2?
It's just so hard. I mean, because at some point it just becomes like a wish list kind of thing. I'm trying to be realistic. Again, I don't think Mario Kart and like a new Mario are going to launch at the same time. I do think I think it does come this year, but it's going to launch later on. Zelda, we're not going to see like a proper new 3D Zelda for a couple of years from now. Whether it's a remake that comes out, like, I was talking about the Ocarina of Time remake, but Zelda's 40 this is next year, so like that would make more sense to wait until next year to put that out. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, like maybe that they finally release that on the Switch 2 and the Switch, that could be a launch title. But again, it would be, I don't know, it'd be kind of weird to wait until the Switch 2 launch to finally get it out on the Switch. Yeah, I mean, again, maybe a new IP or maybe some sort of smaller project from Nintendo.
Yeah. Well,
be cool.
I think it'll be a big year. I think we'll have, at the very least, 3 Nintendo Switch 2 games, like Nintendo first-party Switch 2 games this year.
Yeah.
Including Mario Kart 8. And then now the question is, what's going to fill the first half of the year? And I think we might see that next month with the rumored February Nintendo Direct focused on the Switch 1. Because, I mean, they always have one in February that focuses on the first half of the year. And I don't think they had one last year. They just had like a partner direct or something smaller.
Yeah, I think in March maybe of last year.
Yeah, but it's rumored there's going to be like one final major Switch game that's not just a remaster, so either a remake or a new title.
What I think they said it was a niche IP, so it's an existing franchise that Nintendo has, but it isn't like a new game in that franchise, not a remaster. I don't know what that could be. I mean, some people were speculating Donkey Kong.
Another Donkey Kong, though?
But we just got Donkey Kong, and also like, I mean, Donkey Kong is kind of a niche game, but like, the games are niche. The games are niche, but the character is not. Like obviously, they're a big push for Donkey Kong since the Mario Kart, since the Mario movie, with what they added park coming to the Mario Super Mario World land. So I don't know, maybe not Donkey Kong, but I just don't know what else they could do. I mean, Fire Emblem, I don't see a new game from Fire Emblem quite yet, and
I see a remake.
I wouldn't say Fire Emblem is super niche anymore.
I mean, I guess whatever you consider niche. Like I think the highest selling game is 4 million.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's super niche. I don't see a new Xenoblade game coming out quite yet, especially with Xenoblade Chronicles coming out. That wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Golden Sun
maybe. That would be also kind of weird. Maybe like Star Fox or F-Zero.
Oh God, Star Fox.
But then like F-Zero, like it's a racing game, so it's like would that make sense to put it out right before Mario Kart? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea with this one.
I mean, I would like to see a new Star Fox as a Star Fox Zero apologist. Thought that was great. I thought it was a great game, but maybe I'm
surprised that one never came over to the Switch.
It's so integrated with the gamepad.
It's true,
but they could just make a regular Star Fox and not have you have to use a gamepad for it. Yeah. So maybe we get a new Star Fox. Maybe we get. I don't even know what other niche franchises they have at this point, but
yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think Switch 2 launches with like GameCube games on the NSO
Yeah, I think it could.
potentially?
So would that be exclusive to the Switch 2, or would you be able to play those on the Switch 1 as well? I guess that's where you get into like the
It's like
weird
where
dynamic.
do you cut it off? Because like GameCube games could absolutely run on the Switch 1, but yeah, if you have an NSO plan on the Switch 2, like maybe that's where that's when it starts to get a little bit weird, and they're gonna have to decide that quickly. And I'm sure they have a plan for it, but
if you're paying the same amount each year for like the highest tier, but you only have the Switch 1 and they lock off like GameCube games to the Switch 2,
yeah,
that kind of feels weird. But I guess at the same time, it's like with Game Pass, right? You can get Game Pass on the Xbox One, but there are certain games that you can't play because they're exclusive to the series.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll kind of like position it similar to that. But I mean,
the Game Pass ones, like they just can't run on the Xbox One, so that's why they wouldn't be there.
But Nintendo would be like choosing not to let them run on the Switch 1.
Choosing not to let them be on the service. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure how they would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something they got to figure out. Assuming they allow you. I mean, with all these GameCube remasters and stuff, with all these remasters in general, like maybe they just don't do it at all.
Yeah. Maybe they just stop it.
Yeah, maybe they just stop it
64.
In 64. So I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Because they would probably, I mean, if they add a GameCube, I'm sure they're going to raise the price up for NSO, and they may do it with the Switch 2 as well. I mean, it's a possibility they raise the price. So
yeah,
we'll see. But they have to add value to it as well. They can't just. I don't think they can just raise the price, because we don't get free games. I mean, we get the free like multiplayer stuff, but we don't get like free games that are like new games that are added, like Game Pass and what is it, PlayStation
Premium Extra,
Plus, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think they would have some sort of value if they're going to increase the price of the NSO, but
yeah,
we'll see. Any last thoughts on Switch stuff?
I do think we'll get Metroid Prime 2 and 3.
I do too. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be like as remastered, like a quality remaster like one was. They'll have like the updated controls and stuff, but I don't think it's going to be as involved, I guess.
I mean, hey,
maybe it will be. I don't know.
Maybe they saw how well Prime Remastered was received and said, hey, maybe we should pump the brakes on 2 and 3 and like get these done right, make some really good remasters, and then get people super hyped up for Prime 4 to launch this year.
Because it would just be weird if they didn't come out,
Yeah.
Like maybe Prime 4 comes out in October or something, and maybe Mario is the launch title as well with Mario Kart, and then Prime comes out in October, November. That way they have plenty of time to get 2 and 3 out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they've got to be coming. It's just a matter of when are they gonna? Is it gonna be a dual pack? Are they gonna do them separately? They could do it like Pikmin.
Do they do the trilogy? Do they have another like Metroid Prime trilogy collection?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like they either do, because the Pikmin 1 and 2 bundle, they didn't do those separately, right? They did. You could buy them separately on the eShop, but then the physical version had both of them, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do that for Prime 2 and 3. They don't have
That'd
like
be cool.
A huge remaster like Prime 1 was. I hope they are. I would love to see them look as good as they can, but we'll see. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're coming as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Fire Emblem, the Genealogy of the Holy War remake.
Yeah, I think that could be like another final Switch 1 game that comes out. I really want to see that on the Switch too.
I mean, you can play it on the Switch.
That's true. I could always wait. I could always wait and play hopefully like an upgraded version, but probably not. And
hopefully they keep it pixelized, and not like a chibi.
I want them to do like an HD 2D.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That would be, yeah, that would be pretty surprising if they did that. Actually,
I hope they do that for the GBA ones.
Yeah,
whenever they're remade 20 years from now.
Yeah, and same with like Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Like if we ever get remakes of those, like I don't want them to do like Link's Awakening and Echoes. I'd rather just see either like an HD 2D kind of thing. Like that could look so good. Like just playing through what's it called? Jeez. What was the Game Boy Advance Zelda game?
Minish Cap.
Minish Cap. Like playing that on the Switch OLED, dude, it looks so beautiful. That holds up. That game holds up so well. Yeah, it pops so good. So I would love to see like an up-res version.
Yeah, like maybe not exactly like the HD 2D games we've seen so far, because none of those would work that well with like action games. They're kind of more geared towards like hand-drawn RPGs that are turn-based, but kind of just like kind of improved Minish Cap pixel art.
That's what like Sea of Stars, cool. Like Sea of Stars, the visuals. Yeah, like, that looks so good.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
get an indie team working on it.
Yeah, it could look great. Cool. That's honestly like, obviously Ocarina of Time is like the big remaster, like a remake that I want of that game. But like an Oracle of Ages and Seasons and a Minish Cap, I would love to see a remaster of those. That could be awesome.
Yeah. One day.
Do you think it's not on our list, but we'll talk about it real quick. We have the Xbox Direct coming up here on Wednesday. Or is it Thursday? It's the 23rd, right? So that's what?
Thursday.
Do you think we get something from Xbox going to Nintendo? I mean, it's rumored. There's so much stuff rumored for the Master Chief Collection going to the Switch too. Do you think anything gets announced? Because they have to. I guess they don't have to give it a release date, but they can't give it a release date because that could out the Switch's release date, whatever. But
right, I don't think anything like regarding like a Master Chief Collection or like a Gears of War collection or Flight Sim, I don't think any of that gets announced at the developer direct, because if they were to do that, there's really nothing for Xbox players. That's only for Switch players. So I think that'll come.
That's true. At
a later time. I mean, maybe because what are the games that are going to be shown? It's Gears. It's not Gears. It's Doom, Avowed. And South of Midnight.
Yep.
I mean, maybe one of those games is kind
mystery
of
game.
Like will be announced to come to Switch 2.
Yeah. Because did you see that RE6 got rated by the ESRB?
So why did that get rated?
I don't know.
Because that's already on the Switch.
It's already on the Switch, but maybe they're doing like a deluxe version or something. Because they did the Dead Rising one. Which I think a lot of people like. They kind of updated the controls a little bit, so maybe it'd be weird if they
play that.
Skip 5 and just went to 6, and 6 is like also not a highly regarded game either. So I don't know how much truth is in it, but I mean it got rated, so I don't know why it did though.
Yeah, maybe it's some sort of collection.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't see them remaking 6 without doing 5 first. Especially since
I think it's Final Fantasy is going to be the mystery game, personally. Either Final Fantasy or like Persona 6. Could they? I think it was. They said it was highly rumored to be like a Japanese studio game.
Yeah, Japanese.
Like some people are speculating like a Lost Odyssey remake or something like that, or remaster.
Blue Dragon.
That would be huge for me. I love that game. But I think it's probably going to be Final Fantasy or Persona. I could see that being there. Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy
7
remake and Rebirth.
Oh, you think Rebirth too?
Yeah. Square Enix wants those games everywhere.
Well, because they want to make up for the development cost of Rebirth, which is probably astronomical, given how big that game is.
Yeah. I want those games not to be exclusive anymore.
I bet
They'll never do that again.
I bet they're seething right now, just cursing PlayStation for. I think, what would a Rebirth only sell, like 2 million?
Something like
maybe
that,
more by this point, but I think around launch it was only a 2 million copies sold, which is pretty low for.
And not saying it's going to do gangbusters on Xbox either, but probably not. Just getting it on Xbox and then getting it onto Switch too as well.
Yeah,
it'll be huge.
It'll
sell like crazy on Switch too.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, all the Final Fantasies, Persona 3 Reload, Metaphor. I'm sure Monster Hunter, either Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter Wilds, is going to come.
Yeah. There's going to be so many games that are going to be ported over. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, the Resident Evil Village and 7, those will get native ports, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, Black Myth Wukong at some point. So I guess. Yeah. Floodgates are going to be open.
Yeah. That's going to be crazy. So we learned from over at Bloomberg, Jason Schreier did a report that several more PlayStation, they announced 12 live service games a few years ago, and have any of them come out? I don't think they have. Like Concord came out, and obviously that was a catastrophic failure. But yeah, there was in works. There was a God of War game in the works, a live service God of War game. Just
the worst idea.
A statement. Live service and God of War should never be in the same sentence. Like I mean,
how do you even make that? Like, what is the premise there? Are you playing as Kratos and friends?
You probably didn't even play as Kratos. You probably played as some other
other B team, like some weird
generic character or whatever. Like and like Kratos you would get side missions from like Kratos. Like it just sounds.
Yeah, that sounds really dystopian. Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, and I already made a video on it, but Jim Ryan, man, just generational failure, I think, in my eyes, with the PS5.
Yeah.
I think going into the PS5, like, they just didn't, I think they were way too cocky. And, obviously they're still, like, tremendously outselling the Xbox. Yeah, way too cocky. I think they just didn't have, like, all their games take forever to make. I think they went into the generation nervous about exclusives, and I think that's when they went and signed all these deals with these other companies, like Konami with Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade, getting stuff like that, locking up these really great third-party exclusives. But just you got to think, man, how much money was wasted on these live service games that could have gone into really cool projects like Astrobot. I guarantee you Astrobot did not cost that much to make compared to this other stuff. So we could have got some really, really awesome stuff that could have been in development. And it's frustrating. Like we were texting the other day and I was like, yeah, maybe admittedly I dogged on PlayStation a little bit too hard this generation. And then like the next day we get this news about the live service stuff. And I'm like,
hey, maybe I didn't.
Maybe it was warranted a little bit, but I think that's just Jim Ryan's legacy. I think he did something right. Cause the PlayStation is still selling like pretty well, but yeah, just a complete failure in my eyes. Curtis Young, I hope the Switch 2 had a little extra something because the Steam Deck deflates the potential poets for me. First party will be great for sure. And I think the Switch 2, like, I'm not a big specs person, but I think the Switch 2 is going to be on par, if not more powerful than the Steam Deck. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Probably on par with the Steam Deck 1. I know Steam Deck 2 is going to come out eventually.
Yeah.
I think it'll be on par. Maybe not better than the Steam Deck, but I think it'll be able to play all of the third-party games you want to play, all the new ones. Oh, that's cool. And I think it'll have some cool stuff, some additional stuff as well that makes it enticing. But
and like you said, Curtis, first party Nintendo games are always so good. And we talked about it to death, but Tears of the Kingdom, it did not run super, super great on the Switch. but it worked, and it was fantastic. And maybe Zelda's not your jam, but Mario, we know that. I mean, that game runs flawlessly on the Switch. And that was back in 2017. So imagine what they are cooking up now with the new Mario. Even like Bowser's Fury was fantastic. Like that felt like kind of testing the waters. No pun intended with that game. On like maybe a different direction for Mario, and I think that could be really cool. And then PS5 is definitely the worst PlayStation generation. They're only doing okay because of Xbox. And that's the thing too. I think the PS4 generation was so good. They had so many generational IPs, I guess, to come out on the PS4. And
they developed
that stuff,
flagship titles.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff did come out at the end of the generation, and that stuff does happen a lot. With Gears 3 came out at the end of the Xbox 360 generation. So you're going to get like the flagship titles at the end of the generation. And that could be the case with the PS5 and Xbox. We could get some really, really great games towards the end, but there just hasn't been any game, first party games from either company yet that's like blown us away. And we don't think that couldn't run on the PS4 Pro or PS4 or whatever. I mean, God of War was cross generational, so like that didn't really count.
That's crazy that one came out on PS4. I forgot about that.
That's where I played it, and it ran pretty great. I mean, there was definitely some stuttering at some points during that game with the combat, but for the most part, it was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us like was towards the end. I mean, the PS5 was out at that point, but it came out on the PS4.
No, Last of Us 2 was summer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That year.
Later that year.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, like, another good example of like that was like PlayStation's flagship franchise. The best. Their best game of that year.
And they Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima too. As
that
well.
year too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I feel like this generation was kind of like they rushed into it and didn't have any launch titles. I mean, PlayStation had Miles Morales, which was a cross-gen game, and then Xbox had nothing at launch, which is
Assassin's
absolutely crazy. Yeah, I played Assassin's Creed.
No, we played Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, Jedi.
And then Assassin's Creed came out later on.
But like, what a boring way to launch a console. No exclusives. Just relying
and granted,
on
Halo was supposed to be there, but it wasn't. It was delayed.
I mean, at that point, do you just delay the console? Probably imagine going to pick up the Switch 2 and there's no exclusives for it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe that's what Xbox should have done. Because Halo got delayed, they had no games. Like maybe just let it wait, and then just launch with Halo. Like they probably would have sold a lot more consoles, I think. Yeah. And Halo, they could have taken. I mean, Halo launched in the way that it did. I don't know. It was a mess.
Xbox whole generation's been a mess for both. Yeah, for both consoles.
Well, Nintendo's kicking off the next generation, and we'll go from there.
They kick it off right.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, again, live service God of War games should have never even crossed the mind of these people. Yeah, it just
shouldn't have been on the table.
No. And I think also like it was probably I think Concord just scared them. They wasted so much money. Nobody wanted to play it. Nobody wanted to buy it. So why keep investing resources into games that could potentially? Can you imagine like if they actually announced the God of War live service game? Like it would have been horrible.
The amount of backlash they would get.
Yeah,
like people would be saying, "Guys, have you not read The Room for the past 4 years?"
Yeah,
like yeah. It would have been really bad.
Curtis, we already did talk about the our speculation, but we'll talk about it again. Yeah, Mario Kart, I definitely think is going to launch. In Metro, I mean, I think Prime 4 could absolutely co-launch with Mario Kart. They're different games, so I don't think they're going to, mess up the sales of one another. It's definitely going to help. to have. And like I said before, it's people are hungry at console launches. They want to play
We'll
a
play
lot
new
of
games.
things. Like 1-2 Switch. If I would have known what I know now, I would have never got that game at launch. But I wanted more stuff to play on the Switch. And, and granted, it was fun at the time. Like it was a new system, new gimmicks. Playing with the HD Rumble, what was cool. But that was a $50 game back then, I think. So yeah, just crazy. No, you're good, Curtis.
Yeah, no worries.
You're good.
Yeah, I mean,
Metro Prime 4. If that doesn't launch with it, maybe Mario. But
I don't think we'll see 2 Mario games. At launch. I think you're right earlier. I think 3 Mario later in the year. I think obviously Mario Kart at launch, and then maybe Metroid Prime for a month earlier with an upgrade on Switch 2, or it kind of coincides with the Mario Kart launch as well. So I think at most you would get those 2 games, and at the very least you'd get just Mario Kart 8 and some like up-resed or upgraded games like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, things to kind of tie people over.
Do you think there's a possibility where, if this rumored direct happens next month, Prime 4 gets a reveal date and it's before the Switch 2 launch?
I think so. I think it could be May, could be April or May.
Yeah, and then like maybe at the event they say, hey, there's going to be a Switch 2 version of Metro Prime 4,
and they show a comparison.
Yeah,
like, hey, here's it on Switch 1 versus Switch 2.
That would be messed up though, because like everybody's going to wait to play it for the Switch 2, but everybody that's diehard Metro Prime fans like want to play it when it launches, so you have to wait, another month or so. That would be brutal. But
and I think that's what's going to happen. I do think Prime 4
because
is launch.
If they have the direct and they say, hey, Metro Prime 4 is going to release, June, whatever, like, okay, we're like, all right, that's the Switch 2 release date, so they're kind of like, I don't know,
that's a good point. Yeah, you can't
date
it
in a weird, they can't date it if it's after.
If it's after June,
it's weird. If it's like after June, like that, they can't date it. Yeah, they're in a weird pickle with that one. I don't know how they do that one. Maybe they save it. Maybe they just announce 2 and 3 and let that come out in the next month or so.
Yeah,
next couple months, and then in April we'll get a full reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting. And then last on our news list, Team Cherry, the developer of Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong, came out and kind of said, hey, we're still alive, we're still kicking. They're not very active on their social media.
No.
So they came out and just kind of said, hey, we're still making the game.
And honestly, that's great to hear, because we haven't heard anything from them in 2 years. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. And I think this all came because there was a lot of like hubbub around someone who works at Team Cherry posting about some sort of piece of cake, and it
chocolate cake.
Yeah, it looked like an ARG thing, and people were saying that it coincides with the Switch 2 Direct. So people are speculating that it's going to launch with the Switch 2. So I don't know. I think it'll come out whenever the Switch 2 comes out. I think they're being smart about that. They don't want it to get drowned out.
And hey, that's a massive launch title if that happens.
Oh yeah. If Nintendo, and we didn't even talk about indies, but like Nintendo could stack up a lot of indies for launch with the Switch 2, and that could be one of the big ones.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean they could absolutely do that. Yeah, that would be huge. I mean, I know like they're tied with Xbox because it's going to be on Game Pass.
It was with Nintendo first, though.
But it was Nintendo first. You're right, and I think that would be a huge. But it can't be. It's not going to be an exclusive, of course. But still, I think that would be like a huge get for Nintendo if they could work it out with Team Cherry and say, hey, if you guys can have this thing ready by the Switch 2 launch, we'll give you heavy marketing on the eShop or whatever it is.
We'll get you in the direct.
Get you in the direct. Get you in that slate of games that's going to have, and that game is going to sell like crazy because everyone's going to want to play it on the new system. It's Hollow Knight, so everyone's already clamoring for it. I think, yeah, that would be a huge launch title for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
God, man, Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4 potentially. This is what it's about, man. Like, yes, I know that the form factor itself is the same as the Switch, but there's so many games that are coming out this year that we have no idea about. Again, new IPs, other franchises that Nintendo hasn't had in a while. There's so many games that we just have no idea what's coming, and that's what's exciting to me.
And imagine just like, okay, imagine this launch lineup. You got Metroid Prime 4, first-person action adventure. You got Mario Kart, kart racer, family-friendly game, and then you get Elden Ring and you get Hollow Knight in there.
Yeah,
that's a primo launch lineup. I mean, that has our names written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows how many games are going to be coming day one to the Switch 2 that are coming from third party. Mm-hmm. So I mean,
I'm sure Ubisoft will have a bunch of games.
And you got to be careful because I mean, because even with like older like generations, like when they had launched, like usually it's like 10 to 15. You don't want an oversaturation of games because then like stuff is going to get buried, right? Mm-hmm. So there will be like there's going to be like a good release schedule for all these games. So there's not going to be like 100 games launching on the Switch 2 day one. No. But I think we could get some really great first party stuff. And then, like you said, like Elden Ring, huge. Maybe Starfield launches with the Switch 2. That could be huge, or come out this year. There's a lot of really great third party games that could come to the Switch 2. Halo, like that would be awesome. Like I would definitely pick up Master Chief Collection on the Switch 2.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 that could launch as well.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk could potentially launch. I mean, it should be able to run. Like it runs on the Xbox One, right? Mm-hmm. To a degree.
Yeah, and yeah, Curtis, stuff just running better.
Yeah.
I mean, even something as simple as Echoes of Wisdom running better, or Breath of the Wild, Link's Awakening. Like having Breath of the Wild run at 60 frames would be awesome. Having it up-resed a bit would be really cool. Having Tears of the Kingdom be a steady 30, or running at 60, that'd be awesome too.
Because I mean, we don't know what their plan is for like, are they gonna? Yeah, I don't want them to do like a new version of, Breath of the Wild, like a completely new version. But like, are they gonna charge people like a $10 fee, like like PlayStation did, or are they gonna be like Xbox and have like the smart? What was it? The smart smart delivery, where it just automatically upgraded for you. Hopefully they go that route and not the PlayStation route. So yeah, I mean, there could be a lot of games that are on the Switch that they're like, yeah, we've been working on new versions of that, and if you own the games, you'll get the updates and you could play a better version on the Switch too. Like that could be very enticing, like you said.
Maybe it'll be a part of Nintendo Online.
That could be the case too. That's an extra incentive for the NSO stuff. So I think you're onto something with that one.
Could be.
So it's not technically free, but you're not really paying any extra if you're already paying for the service.
And if you unsubscribe, they will rip the upgrades out of your game.
Yeah, they just wipe your save data. Like,
oh, that would be rich.
Lots of exciting stuff. I'm really excited for the Xbox Direct on Thursday. Yeah, just to see what all these games look like. I definitely like South of Midnight. I think is probably what I want to see the most, because like that's the one that I'm like most.
I need to be sold on that one.
Sold on that one. Yeah, because what we saw already looked cool, but how does it run? Does it run good? Is it 60 or is it 30? How's the gameplay?
How's the combat? Importantly,
yeah, which we saw a little bit of it at their latest thing, but so yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to wrap up the show. We appreciate everyone watching and listening, of course. Please review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice. It greatly, greatly helps us out. You can message the show any questions you guys have. Let us know how excited you are for the Switch 2, or you're not excited because it's not as powerful as your PC. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, we'll be back next week with I mean, we're at the peak right now. We finally got what we were been wanting for months.
Peaking and tweaking.
Yeah, peeking and tweaking. We got it. We know about a direct coming, maybe one next month. We got the Xbox Direct this week.
Oh yeah,
PlayStation's got to have something soon. They've got to have some sort of. Yeah, they've got to have something. So very excited for that. We got the Pokemon Direct coming at the end of February next month.
Allegedly.
I think they usually have it every month, every February, right?
Yeah. I think it was.
We'll learn more about ZA. We'll learn about some of the remake they're working on. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. So we're kind of getting into that peak season of learning about what to look forward to this year.
It's an exciting time.
It's a great time. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.